The church doors exploded open. Not creaked. Not swung. Exploded. The sound ripped through St. Augustine's Cathedral like a gunshot. Crystal chandeliers trembled. White rose petals scattered across marble floors. Every head turned. 300 guests. Politicians. CEOs. Old money and new power. All frozen. Because a small black girl stood in the doorway. Barefoot. Dressed 2 sizes too big, faded pink cotton hanging off her shoulders. Braids uneven, some loose, some tight. Dirt streaked across her knees. She looked like she'd walked through hell to get here. And she was staring directly at the groom. Damien Cross didn't move. Tech billionaire. Philanthropist. One of the most powerful black men in America. He stood at the altar in a custom Bryony tux, calm, composed, untouchable. Until the girl ran. Straight down the aisle. Past the flowers. Past the politicians. Past security. Her feet slapped against the floor. Each step echoed. "Stop her," someone shouted. 2 security guards lunged from the sides. The bride, Lauren Whitfield, elegant in Vera Wang, diamonds dripping from her ears, stepped back. Her face twisted. "What is this?" she hissed. But the girl didn't stop. She reached Damien and grabbed his hand. Her fingers were small. Shaking. Cold. The room erupted. "Get that child out of here. This is a disgrace. Call the police." Damien looked down. Up close, he saw something that made his breath catch. Her eyes weren't wild. They weren't confused. They were desperate. Calculated. Like she'd planned every second of this. "Sir," she whispered. Her voice cracked. "Please don't say I do." Lauren yanked at Damien's arm. "Security. Now." The guards closed in. But Damien raised one hand. The room went silent. He knelt down slowly, eye level with the girl. "What's your name?" His voice was gentle. Controlled. "Nyla." "Why did you come here, Nyla?" Her lips trembled. Tears pooled in her eyes but didn't fall. She glanced over her shoulder. At the guests. At the doors. Like someone was watching. Then she leaned in close. "Because you paid for the building," she whispered. Damien's jaw tightened. "What building?" Nyla's voice dropped even lower. Barely audible. "The one where my mom disappeared." The words hit him like a sledgehammer. Lauren laughed. Sharp. Nervous. "This is absurd." She's clearly, but Damien wasn't listening. Because somewhere in the back of his mind, a memory was stirring. A building. A project. A signature he didn't remember giving. Nyla reached into her small backpack. Pulled out a photograph. Burned at the edges. Crumpled. But clear enough. A woman standing in front of a newly renovated apartment complex. Smiling. Proud. Behind her, unmistakable, the logo of Cross Urban Initiative. Damien's foundation. His name. His reputation. His money. "That's my mom," Nyla said. Her voice broke. She reported something wrong. Damien took the photo. His hand wasn't steady. "What kind of wrong?" Nyla's eyes filled with something darker than fear. She said people were disappearing. The guests murmured. Phones came out. Cameras pointed. Lauren's smile was gone. "Damien, this is a setup. A distraction. Don't let her." "Quiet," Damien said. His tone was ice. Lauren froze. Damien stared at the photo. His mind raced. That building. Fast-tracked approval. No final review. Pushed through by someone he trusted. Someone close. He looked at Nyla. "Who told you to come here?" She shook her head. "Nobody told me. They said if I talked, I'd end up like her." "Who said that?" Nyla's hand trembled as she pointed. Not at a guest. Not at Lauren. At the wedding planner. A woman in her 40s, standing near the aisle with a clipboard and a Bluetooth earpiece. Professional. Forgettable. Until now. Her face went white. Then she smiled. Cold. Rehearsed. "Sir, I think the child is confused," she said smoothly. "Weddings can be overwhelming for—" "Stay where you are," Damien said. The planner's smile cracked. She turned. And bolted. Why would a wedding planner run? And what did she know about Nyla's mother? 6 seconds before Nyla burst through those doors, Damien Cross had been smiling. Not the smile he gave investors or journalists. A real one. Lauren squeezed his hand. Her grip was firm. Confident. She looked perfect under the light streaming through stained glass. Champagne blonde hair pulled back. Skin flawless. Every angle camera ready. You ready? She whispered. Damien nodded. But something felt off. A tightness in his chest he couldn't explain. A pressure behind his ribs that had nothing to do with nerves. He scanned the room. 300 guests. Every seat filled. Senators. Tech moguls. Celebrities. Donors who'd contributed millions to his foundation. Everything looked perfect. Too perfect. Then he saw her. Nyla. She stood near the back, half hidden behind a stone column. No family beside her. No invitation in her hand. Just watching. Her eyes locked on his. And for a moment, Damien felt something he hadn't felt in years. Fear. Not for himself. For her. Because she looked terrified. Before he could process it, she flinched. Then ran. Straight at him. The string quartet faltered. Violins screeched to a halt. Lauren turned. What is? But Nyla was already there. Grabbing his hand. Whispering words that would shatter everything. Damien had built an empire on precision. Every deal. Every investment. Every public appearance calculated down to the second. But this? This was chaos. And chaos was dangerous. Especially when it involved a child who shouldn't know his name. Nyla's breath was ragged. Her eyes darted to the exits. To the guests. To the wedding planner who was now backing toward the side door. Sir, Nyla said again. Louder this time. They are watching me. Damien's pulse spiked. Who's watching you? She didn't answer. Because the planner was gone. Slipped out through the vestibule like smoke. Damien stood. The tux felt too tight. The air too thick. Lauren grabbed his arm. Damien, stop. You're embarrassing us. He pulled away. Someone find that planner, he said. His voice cut through the murmurs. Now. 2 security guards sprinted after her. The crowd shifted. Uncomfortable. Confused. A few people stood. A senator near the front whispered into his phone. This wasn't a wedding anymore. It was a trial. And Damien was about to become both judge and defendant. Nyla tugged his sleeve. She's not the only one, she whispered. Damien knelt again. What do you mean? There are others. People who knew. People who helped. Helped with what? Nyla's voice dropped so low he barely heard it. Making people disappear. Damien's blood ran cold. He looked at Lauren. She was staring at Nyla. Not with confusion. With recognition. Lauren knew something. And whatever it was, she'd been hiding it this whole time. If you're still watching, drop a comment. Do you think Lauren's involved, or is she just as shocked as Damien? Don't get caught off guard. Keep watching. Nyla Reed was 10 years old. But she'd learned to move like someone twice her age. Quietly. Carefully. Always watching. She lived in a women's shelter 3 miles from St. Augustine's Cathedral. The Faith and Hope Transition House, off Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. 12 beds. Shared bathroom. A kitchen that smelled like burnt coffee and government cheese. Her mother used to clean offices at night. Used to wake Nyla at 5 a.m., make her oatmeal, walk her to school before catching the bus to the first job of 3. Used to. That was before the building. Before the new apartments with the shiny lobby and the security cameras that never seemed to work. Before her mother started coming home late. Scared. Whispering on the phone in Spanish even though they weren't Spanish. Before she disappeared. Nyla hadn't spoken to the police. Not because she didn't want to. Because the police told her there was nothing to investigate. Your mother's an adult, sweetheart. Adults leave sometimes. But her mother didn't leave. She was taken. Nyla knew because of the photo. The one she'd carried for 6 weeks. The one she'd shown to counselors, to shelter workers, to anyone who'd listen. Nobody believed her. Until she found the name. Damien Cross. It was printed on the back of a folder her mother had hidden under the mattress. Along with receipts. Emails. A list of names Nyla didn't recognize. And one phrase, underlined 3 times in red pen, ***, they're using his foundation. ***, so Nyla made a plan. She knew where the wedding was. She'd seen it on the news. Billionaire Damien Cross to wed Lauren Whitfield in lavish ceremony. She walked for an hour and 17 minutes. No bus fare. No phone. Just the photo and a backpack with a granola bar she didn't eat. Her feet hurt. Her dress, donated from Goodwill, was too big. But she didn't care. Because if she didn't stop this wedding, no one would. And if no one stopped it, her mother would stay gone. Forever. The shelter director had tried to stop her that morning. Nyla, baby, where are you going? Church, Nyla lied. The woman frowned. You don't go to church. I do now. She slipped out before anyone could ask more questions. She walked past the gas station where her mother used to buy scratch-offs. Past the laundromat where they'd fold clothes together on Sundays. Past the corner store where the owner, Mr. Chen, still asked when her mother was coming back. Nyla never answered. Because the truth was too heavy. And the truth was this, her mother had found something. Something bad. Something that powerful people wanted buried. And those people had made her disappear. When Nyla reached the cathedral, she almost turned back. The building was massive. Marble steps. Stained glass. People in suits and dresses that cost more than a year's rent. She didn't belong here. But then she thought of her mother's voice. Baby, when something's wrong, you speak up. Even if you're scared. Even if nobody listens. You speak up. So she pushed the doors open. And ran. Now she stood in front of Damien Cross, the man whose name was all over the papers her mother had hidden. He was tall. Strong. Kind eyes. But kind eyes didn't mean safe. Nyla had learned that the hard way. They told me if I talked, I'd end up like her, she said again. Damien's face hardened. Who told you that? Nyla looked past him. At the guests. At the cameras. At Lauren, who was staring at her with something Nyla recognized. Not anger. Fear. Lauren was scared. And scared people do dangerous things. What would you do if you were Nyla? Comment below. And if you're not subscribed yet, what's stopping you? The next part changes everything. Remove her. Lauren's voice was sharp. Cold. The kind of voice that expected immediate obedience. 2 security guards stepped forward. But Damien raised his hand again. Wait. The room buzzed. Phones were out now. Recording. Streaming. This wasn't just a wedding anymore. It was a scandal in real time. A guest near the front whispered loud enough for others to hear. Probably a scam. Another nodded. Kids do this for attention. Street kid. No supervision. Typical. Nyla heard every word. Her face burned. But she didn't move. Damien knelt down again. Closer this time. His voice was low. Steady. Nyla, I need you to tell me everything. Right now. She swallowed hard. My mom worked at the Riverside Apartments. The ones your foundation renovated last year. Damien's jaw clenched. He remembered now. Riverside. Subsidized housing project. Fast-tracked approval. City Council pushed it through in record time. He'd signed off on the funding. But he hadn't reviewed the final contracts. That had been delegated. To someone he trusted. She found something wrong, Nyla continued. Her voice shook but didn't break. People were being moved out. Not evicted. Moved. She said the numbers didn't match. What numbers? Tenants. The building was supposed to house 200 families. But only 60 were living there. She checked the leases. Checked the payments. Someone was faking the records. Damien's blood turned to ice. Lauren stepped forward. This is absurd. A child shows up with some conspiracy theory and we're supposed to let her finish, Damien said. His tone left no room for argument. Lauren's mouth snapped shut. Nyla reached into her backpack again. This time she pulled out a folded piece of paper. Wrinkled. Stained. She handed it to Damien. It was a printout. An email chain. The subject line read, ***, final transfer scheduled, wedding date. ***, Damien scanned it. Names he didn't recognize. Account numbers. Routing codes. And one name he did recognize. Lauren Whitfield. His stomach dropped. He looked up slowly. Lauren's face had gone pale. Damien, she said carefully. I don't know what that is. Someone's clearly trying to. This is your email, Damien said. His voice was quiet. Deadly quiet. Lauren laughed. It sounded wrong. Forced. That's forged. Obviously. Anyone can fake an email. Damien stood. The crowd leaned in. He held up the paper. Does anyone here know that my foundation is under federal investigation? Gasps. Murmurs. A senator in the third row stood. Damien, what are you? Sit down, Damien said. The man Saturday. Damien turned back to Lauren. When were you going to tell me? Her mouth opened. Closed. You didn't think I'd find out. His voice rose. You didn't think laundering money through my foundation would come back to me. The crowd exploded. Phones up. Cameras flashing. A reporter near the back was already on a call. Yes, I'm at the Cross wedding. You need to get a crew here now. Lauren's composure cracked. You don't understand, she said. Her voice broke. This was supposed to be clean. It was business. It wasn't personal. Business. Damien's voice was ice. People are missing, Lauren. They are not missing. They are relocated. Compensated. It's all legal. Then why is a 10-year-old girl standing here telling me her mother disappeared? Lauren's eyes flicked to Nyla. Then to the doors. Calculating. Damien saw it. Don't even think about it, he said. But Lauren was already moving. She turned. Ran. Heels clicking against marble. Security didn't know who to grab, the bride or the wedding planner who'd already fled. Chaos erupted. Guests stood. Some ran for the exits. Others filmed. Damien didn't move. He looked down at Nyla. She was crying now. Silently. Tears streaking down her face. You did the right thing, he said softly. She shook her head. I just want my mom back. Damien crouched down. Put a hand on her shoulder. Then let's go find her. The wedding was over. But the hunt for the truth had just begun. And Lauren? She just made the biggest mistake of her life. Running. Still think this is just a story? Comment below if you've ever had to expose someone powerful. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. You'll regret missing what happens next. Where are you watching from? Damien Cross had donated $47 million to housing projects across the South. Hundreds of buildings. Thousands of tenants. Families who couldn't afford market rent. Single mothers. Veterans. People the system forgot. That was the mission. But standing in the shattered remains of his wedding, holding a burned photograph of a woman he'd never met, Damien realized something terrible. He'd been used. His foundation. His name. His reputation. All of it weaponized. He pulled out his phone. Dialed his head of operations. Marcus. I need you at Riverside Apartments. Now. Sir, it's your wedding day, the wedding's over. Get there. Pull every file. Every contract. Every tenant list. I want names, dates, and signatures. What's going on? I'll explain later. Just move. He hung up. Lauren was gone. Fled through the side exit. Security lost her in the chaos. But Damien wasn't thinking about Lauren anymore. He was thinking about Nyla's mother. And the 140 missing tenants. Nyla stood beside him, small and trembling. The guests were leaving now. Confused. Horrified. Phones still recording. This would be everywhere by nightfall. Billionaire's wedding destroyed by child's accusation. Tech mogul's fiancé flees amid fraud claims. Damien Cross, philanthropist or accomplice? He didn't care. Let them talk. Nyla, he said gently. Do you know where your mother was last seen? She nodded. The basement. She said she found files in the basement. Old leases. She was going to take photos. When was this? 6 weeks ago. Damien's jaw clenched. 6 weeks. And nobody had looked for her. Not the police. Not the housing authority. Not even the shelter. Because people like Nyla's mother didn't matter to the system. They were invisible. Until they weren't. Damien knelt down again. I level with Nyla. I'm going to find her, he said. I promise you. Nyla's eyes filled with tears. You don't know what they'll do. Who's they, Nyla? She hesitated. Then pulled out one more thing from her backpack. A business card. Cream-colored. Embossed gold lettering. *** Whitfield Capital Ventures ** Lauren's Company. Damien's blood turned to ice. Where did you get this? My mom had it. She said a woman came to the building. Told people they were being relocated. Better apartments. Better neighborhoods. All they had to do was sign some papers. And? They signed. Then they disappeared. Damien stood slowly. His mind raced. Whitfield Capital owned the Riverside building. Not his foundation. His foundation had only provided the renovation funds. But the building itself? The leases? The tenants? That was Lauren's operation. And she'd been laundering money through it. Using his name as cover. Using vulnerable people as ghosts. A voice cut through the chaos. Mr. Cross. Damien turned. A woman stood near the altar. Mid-50s. Black pantsuit. FBI badge clipped to her belt. Special Agent Kendra Moss. We need to talk, she said. Agent Moss led Damien to a side chapel. Nyla stayed close. Damien wasn't letting her out of his sight. How long have you known? Damien asked. About the Riverside operation? 4 months. 4 months. His voice rose. And you didn't tell me? We couldn't. You were a person of interest. Damien's stomach dropped. You thought I was involved. We didn't know. Your foundation funded the project. Your fiancé managed it. Every transaction ran through accounts tied to both of you. I had no idea. We know that now. How? Agent Moss glanced at Nyla. Because of her. Nyla looked up. Confused. You came forward, Moss said. Publicly. In front of 300 witnesses. That's not something a co-conspirator does. Damien exhaled slowly. Where's Lauren now? We have units tracking her. She won't get far. And the people? The missing tenants? Agent Moss's expression darkened. That's why we need your help. She pulled out a tablet. Showed Damien a map. Red dots scattered across 3 states. Georgia. Alabama. South Carolina. These are facilities. Private housing. Off the books. We believe Lauren's operation relocated tenants to these locations. Why? Housing subsidies. She was collecting federal payments for tenants who didn't exist at Riverside. Then moving real tenants to unlisted properties where she could extract additional rent. Double dipping. Damien felt sick. How many people? At least 200. Maybe more. He looked at Nyla. She was staring at the map. Is my mom there? She whispered. Agent Moss zoomed in on a facility in Alabama. Rural. Isolated. We think so. Nyla's mother was alive. But she was being held in a facility designed to keep people quiet. And Damien was about to do something that could destroy everything he'd built. Or save everyone who'd been erased. Think Lauren's going to get away? Drop a comment. And if you're still scrolling without subscribing, you're missing the kind of justice that restores your faith. Don't be the one who says, I wish I'd watched this sooner. Damien made a decision. He wasn't waiting for warrants. Wasn't waiting for procedure. He was going to Alabama. Tonight. I'm coming with you, Nyla said. No, Damien said immediately. It's too dangerous. She's my mom. Which is exactly why you're staying here. If something happens to me, you need to be safe. Nyla's face hardened. If something happens to you, nobody will believe me. She was right. Agent Moss stepped in. Mr. Cross, we can't authorize civilian involvement. Then don't authorize it, Damien said. I'm going anyway. Moss studied him. Then nodded slowly. I'll have a team meet you there. But if this goes south, you're on your own. Understood. Damien's driver brought the car around. A black Escalade. Tinted windows. Nyla climbed in before anyone could stop her. Damien sighed. You're stubborn. My mom says it's my best quality. For the first time all day, Damien almost smiled. They drove in silence for the first 30 minutes. Savannah disappeared behind them. Highways stretched into darkness. Nyla stared out the window. Why did you believe me? She asked suddenly. Damien glanced at her. What do you mean? Everyone else thought I was lying. Or confused. Or looking for attention. But you believed me. Damien was quiet for a moment. Because I know what it's like to be invisible, he said. Nyla turned to him. You're a billionaire. Now I am. But I wasn't always. He paused. I grew up in East Atlanta. Public housing. My mom worked 3 jobs. We were evicted twice before I turned 12. Nyla's eyes widened. People didn't see us, Damien continued. We were just another poor black family. Just another statistic. Nobody cared if we disappeared. But you didn't disappear. No. I got lucky. Got a scholarship. Built a company. Made money. And you tried to help people like us. I tried. But somewhere along the way, I stopped paying attention. I trusted the wrong people. And they used my name to hurt the people I was trying to protect. He looked at Nyla. You reminded me why I started. So thank you. Nyla nodded slowly. Then she said something that made Damien's chest tighten. Do you think my mom's okay? Damien wanted to lie. Wanted to promise everything would be fine. But he'd never lied to a child before. He wasn't starting now. I don't know, he said honestly. But I'm going to do everything I can to bring her home. They arrived at the facility just after midnight. It didn't look like a prison. It looked like a retirement home. Single-story building. Manicured lawn. A sign out front, *** Pine Haven Senior Living. ***, but the windows had bars. And the doors had electronic locks. Agent Moss was already there. 3 unmarked vehicles. 6 agents in tactical gear. We've got eyes on the inside, she said. 18 residents. No visible guards, but the facility's owned by a shell company tied to Whitfield Capital. Any sign of Lauren? Not yet. But we found something else. She handed Damien a tablet. Security footage. A woman being escorted into the building 6 weeks ago. Black. Early 40s. Wearing a cleaning uniform. Nyla gasped. That's her. That's my mom. Damien's hands clenched into fists. We're going in. Agent Moss held up a hand. Mr. Cross, let us handle. A gunshot cracked through the air. Everyone dropped. The shot came from inside the building. Then a scream. Nyla lunged forward. Mom! Damien grabbed her. Stay down. But Nyla was thrashing. Crying. That's her. That's my mom. Agent Moss barked into her radio. All units, we have shots fired. Move in. Now. The agent stormed the entrance. Damien pulled Nyla behind one of the vehicles. Stay here, he said. No, Nyla. Stay. Here. He didn't wait for a response. He ran toward the building. A gunshot. A scream. And Damien running toward danger. What would you risk to save someone you just met? Comment your answer. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? The next 60 seconds will decide everything. The building's front door was reinforced steel. Agent Moss's team breached it with a battering ram. Damien followed them inside. The lobby was sterile. White walls. Fake plants. A reception desk with no one behind it. And blood on the floor. Fresh. Damien's heart pounded. Federal agents. Moss shouted. Show yourselves. Silence. Then a voice from down the hall. Don't come any closer. Female. Shaking. Desperate. Lauren. Moss signaled her team. They moved silently down the corridor. Damien stayed behind them. They reached a common area. Tables. Chairs. A TV playing static. And 18 people huddled in the corner. Elderly. Confused. Scared. But one woman stood apart. Mid-40s. Cleaning uniform. Blood on her sleeve. Nyla's mother. She was holding a gun. Pointed at Lauren Whitfield. Lauren sat on the floor, hands raised. Her wedding dress was torn. Mascara streaked down her face. Please, Lauren begged. Please don't, you locked me here, Nyla's mother said. Her voice was cold. Steady. You told me I was being relocated. You said I'd have a better life. I didn't know, you knew. She stepped closer. You knew exactly what you were doing. Agent Moss raised her weapon. Lower the gun. Nyla's mother didn't move. She made me disappear, she said. She made all of us disappear. Damien stepped forward slowly. Hands up. Mrs. Reed, he said gently. She flinched. How do you know my name? Your daughter told me. Her face crumpled. Nyla. She's outside. She's safe. And she's been looking for you. Tears streamed down her face. I tried to get out. I tried to call. But they took my phone. Locked the doors. Told me if I talked, they'd hurt her. They lied, Damien said. Nyla's okay. And she's the reason we're here. Mrs. Reed's hand shook. The gun wavered. She came to my wedding, Damien continued. Stopped the whole thing. Told everyone the truth. Because of her, we found you. She's 10 years old. I know. And she's the bravest person I've ever met. Mrs. Reed's breath hitched. I just want to see her. Then lower the gun, Damien said. Please. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Mrs. Reed's shoulders sagged. The gun dropped. Agent Moss moved in immediately. Secured the weapon. Handcuffed Lauren. Lauren sobbed. I didn't mean for it to go this far. It was just business. Just numbers. Mrs. Reed lunged at her. 2 agents held her back. Numbers, she shouted. We're people. We have families. We have lives. Lauren didn't respond. Just stared at the floor. Broken. Damien walked Mrs. Reed outside. The moment Nyla saw her, she screamed. Mom! She sprinted across the parking lot. They collided. Wrapped around each other. Sobbing. Damien stepped back. Gave them space. Agent Moss stood beside him. You did good, Mr. Cross. I should have known sooner. You trusted the wrong person. That's not a crime. It is when people get hurt. Moss was quiet for a moment. For what it's worth. Nyla didn't just save her mother tonight. She saved 200 people. Damien watched Nyla and her mother hold each other. He thought about the empire he'd built. The reputation. The wealth. The power. None of it mattered. Not compared to this. 3 news vans pulled up. Cameras. Reporters. Microphones. Mr. Cross. Can you comment on the allegations? Is it true your fiancé was running a trafficking ring? What's your response to the victims? Damien stepped forward. The cameras focused on him. He didn't have a script. Didn't have a PR team. Just the truth. My name was used to hurt people, he said. Vulnerable people. People who trusted my foundation. And I didn't see it. Are you taking responsibility? Yes. Completely. I funded the project. I signed the contracts. I didn't ask enough questions. What happens now? Damien looked back at Nyla and her mother. Now we fix it. Every tenant. Every family. We find them. We bring them home. And we make sure this never happens again. And Lauren Whitfield. She'll face justice. Full accountability. A reporter called out one more question. What about your foundation? Damien paused. I'm stepping down as director. I'll bring in independent oversight. Full audits. Public transparency. The reporters erupted with more questions. But Damien was done talking. He walked back to Nyla. She looked up at him. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you, Damien said. You saved more than your mom tonight. You saved me. The story was everywhere. The wedding. The arrest. The rescue. But the real question was bigger than one scandal. How many other foundations were being used the same way? And who else was being erased? You still watching? Drop a comment, guilty or innocent. What verdict would you give Lauren? And if this story made you think twice about who you trust, hit subscribe. Truth like this doesn't come easy. 6 months later, Damien Cross stood on a different stage. Not a wedding altar. Not a corporate event. A community center in East Atlanta. The same neighborhood where he grew up. Same streets. Same struggles. Same people the world ignored. But today, they weren't being ignored. 214 people had been found. Relocated from facilities across 3 states. Reunited with families. Given real housing. Real support. Real dignity. Lauren Whitfield was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. Fraud. Racketeering. False imprisonment. Her company dissolved. Assets seized. Every penny went to the victims. Damien had kept his promise. He stepped down from his foundation. Brought in independent leadership. Full transparency. Public audits. But he didn't stop helping. He just did it differently now. Smarter. With accountability. Nyla sat in the front row. She wore a new dress. Blue. Her favorite color. Her mother sat beside her, holding her hand. Mrs. Reed had started working again. Not cleaning offices. Managing a tenant advocacy program Damien funded. Helping people navigate housing rights. Speak up. Fight back. People like her. Damien stepped to the microphone. No tux. No fancy lights. Just him. A t-shirt. Jeans. Real. 6 months ago, he began, I stood in a church and thought I knew what my life was supposed to look like. The room was silent. I was about to marry someone I thought I knew. I was about to continue a mission I thought I understood. He paused. Then a 10-year-old girl ran down the aisle and changed everything. A few people smiled. Nyla blushed. She didn't have money. Didn't have power. Didn't have anyone on her side. Damien's voice thickened. But she had courage. And she had truth. And that was enough. He looked directly at Nyla. Because of you, 200 families are home. Because of you, a system that hid people is being exposed. Because of you, I remembered why I do this. The room erupted in applause. Nyla wiped her eyes. Her mother squeezed her hand. Damien continued. I'm announcing something today. A new scholarship fund. For young people who speak up. Who fight for justice. Who refuse to stay silent even when the world tries to make them invisible. He pulled out an envelope. The first recipient is Nyla Reed. The room stood. Cheered. Nyla's mouth fell open. Full ride. Any college. Any major. The only requirement? That you keep speaking up. Her mother sobbed. Nyla stood shakily. Walked to the stage. Damien knelt down. You saved my life, he said quietly. Now let me help you build yours. She hugged him. The room exploded. After the ceremony, Damien sat with Nyla outside. The sun was setting. The neighborhood was quiet. What are you going to study? He asked. Law, Nyla said. So people like my mom don't have to be scared. Damien smiled. You're going to be incredible. You think so? I know so. She looked at him. What about you? What are you going to do now? Damien thought about it. Keep listening, he said. To people like you. People the world doesn't hear. That's a good plan. I learned it from the best. Nyla stood. I should go. Mom's waiting. Hey, Nyla. She turned. Thank you, Damien said. For not giving up. She smiled. You too. One moment of courage. One small voice. One truth spoken out loud. That's all it took to stop a powerful lie. If Nyla hadn't run down that aisle, the wedding would have happened. Lauren would have gotten away with it. 200 people would still be missing. But she spoke up. Even when she was scared. Even when she had no power. Even when everyone told her to stay quiet. She spoke up. And everything changed. So ask yourself, what truth are you sitting on? What injustice are you watching in silence? What would you risk to speak up? Because the world doesn't change when powerful people decide to be good. It changes when powerless people decide to be brave. Asterisk asterisk if this story moved you, subscribe. Because the next one might be closer to home than you think. That asterisk 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 where are you watching from? Asterisk 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 and what would you have done in Nyla's place? Asterisk 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 drop a comment. Let's talk. That asterisk asterisk hash theme moral. Hidden truth always surfaces, and even the smallest voice can change everything.